Hump Day, everybody. February 26, 2014. Welcome aboard. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your host for the next 2 hours. God willing, and the creek don't rise, and the internet connection remains strong. Talking about science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, and the holistic methodology which trumps reductionism every day and every way. Well, stupid is as stupid does. Let's say I designed a study, and I said I studied 10,000 men, just randomly selected 10,000 men, and I told them to drink water. And 10,000 men drank 2 quarts of water a day. That was the study. 10,000 men drink 2 quarts of water a day. And then I take their blood and I do various parameters of diagnostic overview over the course of 5 years, and I find that there's absolutely nothing wrong with the men who are drinking the water. There's no harm from drinking water. So I end the study. But now I have all this data. And then a couple of years later, at the end of the study, I tell the men to stop drinking water. You don't have to drink water anymore. So everybody stops drinking water, okay? Nobody drinks water anymore. Everybody stops drinking water at the end of the study. And then 2 years later, I find out that there's a statistically significant high amount of death amongst the people who stopped drinking the water, okay? You take the water, you're okay. You stop taking the water, and you die. And then I publish a study which says water increases your chance of death. Taking water increases your chance of death. That's exactly what the MDs have done. It's exactly what the MDs, well, they didn't do it with water, but they did a ridiculous study, the acronym of which is SELECT, the SELECT study, where they followed a number of men who took vitamin E in an unnatural form of, I think, alpha-tocopherol and selenium in the form of L-selenomethionine. They gave men vitamin E and selenium over the course of a number of years, and they checked their blood to see what parameters increased and what didn't, and they couldn't find any problems at all in the groups while they were taking the supplement. There was no problem, no harm, no foul. So they ended the study. But then they had all this data, and then 2 years later they did follow-ups. And they found that in the groups that were taking the selenium and the vitamin E, there was a slightly significantly increased risk of developing cancer after they stopped the supplement. After they stopped taking the supplement. And then they published a study which said vitamin E and selenium causes cancer. Yeah, I'm not making this up. Stupid is as stupid does. I can't believe the unbelievable intellectual idiocy that's involved with a study like this, and so it's going to be all over the evening news. So I'm trying to cut this one off at the knees. It was a ridiculous, pathetic study. That's not even worthy of mentioning it, but I have to mention it because this is what the MDs do. They roll out nonsense. And the unsuspecting public sees someone in a white coat and a stethoscope on CBS Evening News saying that vitamin E is dangerous and that selenium is dangerous and we have a 10,000-man, $400 million study to prove it. Bull cocky, you do not. You're a sad excuse for a scientist, and you're a pathetic example of a human being, and you need to get off the planet now. Get off the planet. Jump. Get off. Leave us alone. Because you suck at what you do, and you have no business in the public square. This is not to mention the fact that in the late 70s, early 80s, I forget the exact date, my colleague Dr. Wallach sued the Food and Drug Administration so that we can safely say that selenium in the form of selenomethionine taken at 200 micrograms a day reduces the occurrence of breast cancer by 82%, reduces the occurrence of lung cancer, reduces the occurrence of prostate cancer, and reduces the occurrence of colon cancer. And how were we able to do that? Well, when you sue the Food and Drug Administration for a qualified health claim, you have to bring libraries full of published research that supports your facts. that supports your supposition. Facts which support your supposition. They did that and were able to secure a qualified health claim about the cancer-preventing benefits of selenium with mountains of research. So now the MDs just conveniently overlook all of that because, you know, it happened more than 20 years ago, and we have about a 3-month span of attention here in the United States. Let's not look over there. Let's not look over there. Let's not look over there. Let's look over here, and voila! The hand is quicker than the eye. It's unbelievable to me that ridiculousness like this happens in the modern day and age. You know, we all look back and we think to ourselves, oh, son of a gun, if I was alive during George Washington's time and those MDs told me to put leeches all over my body and to open up my veins and bleed out the bad humors from my body, and that's what I needed to do, we wouldn't be okay with that, would we? We would stop that nonsense. It's easy to look back and say, well, if I was around in slavery days, I would have done my very best to stop slavery. But, you know, when you're in the middle of it, number one, it's harder to see and it's harder to do because corruption happens all of the time, not just historically. I think there's a meme going around the country that we're an enlightened generation, that we're above all of that nonsense now and we're out of the dark ages, especially when it comes to science, but we're not. It gets worse. Because nobody calls these people out. And because the media, you know, is owned by like 5 corporations. That's it. And they're all in bed together. So they're not going to have objective reporting of the news. It's not news anymore. It's infotainment. It's not news. It's infotainment. And we should be appalled at it. But we're not. Hospitals don't practice healthcare. They practice disease management. But it's okay for them to say that they practice healthcare. It's misleading. And it should be illegal. But the beat goes on, ladies and gentlemen, in the matrix in which we are all embedded, unless, of course, you've swallowed the red longevity pill and snapped right out of it, like the members of my subscription service, the Insiders, Dr. Glidden Insiders. We had a webinar this morning. We had a webinar last night. We have 5 hours of live webinars a week that you can become an experiencer of, that you can experience for yourself. If you pony up $20 a month, or what's about $180 a year, I think, you save 2 months. You get 2 months free if you buy a year subscription. I had a couple questions on the webinar that I was not able to get to last night, and so I'm going to try to pull them up right now. But wouldn't you know it, here's the link. Where's the link? I just had the link, and now I lost the link. It must be Mercury retrograde. So I'll go back to that. I'll rediscover the link at the beginning of the next segment, and I'll answer a couple of the questions that were submitted last night that I did not have the time to address. Right now, though, the phones are hot. So let's go to Tom in Nebraska, I think, and talk about Parkinson's. Hey, Tom, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, how's Dr. Glidden today? Thanks for letting me be on the program.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Tom. It's all about teamwork here, and, you know, we love the callers, so call at will, if I do say so.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I've been on the call before with this guy with Parkinson's. He's having a little trouble with the money for as much as we got prescribed. But
yeah.
Thing he also asked me yesterday, 12 eggs a day. I know you give me, like butter, he can substitute. How much butter and stuff like that can he eat a day if he cuts back on the eggs? Because he's getting tired of the eggs.
Yeah, I know. It's a hard thing, right? I mean, it is a hard thing. In a perfect world, there would be cholesterol in a pill. And I think there's a couple of companies that actually make cholesterol in a pill. Hard to get, though, and you can only get it through a physician. So you live where, in Nebraska?
North central Nebraska.
North Central Nebraska. Yeah, naturopathic medicine is not licensed there. You may want to try to find a chiropractor and see if they can't get for him concentrated cholesterol in a pill form, because there are companies that make it, right? So that would be simply the easiest thing to do. Now, Harvard University agrees with us in this case, and they say that if you have Parkinson's disease and you do eat a diet that's 80% fat, 80% of the stuff on your plate is fat, you have better outcomes. Now, nobody knows. I'd be lying to you if I told you, it's 1.5 sticks of butter a day or whatever, because nobody knows. So he just needs to do the best that he can with the consumption of foods that are high in fat. So here are some alternatives. Heavy cream, right? Whipping cream, the stuff you make whipping cream out of, half and half. Whole milk, not skim or 2% milk. Cheese, yogurt with the full-fat yogurt with the fat on top. Brown Cow, I think, or Stonyfield Farms are two brands that spring to mind. Turkey with the skin, chicken with the skin, hamburger and steak cooked rare or medium rare. Pork chops with the fat. Bacon, right? All of these foods that are high in fat deliver lots of cholesterol to the human body, and by hook or by crook, he needs to increase his consumption of cholesterol. Now, the other thing that's important into this bargain is antioxidants, right?
Right,
Right, so, cloves, cinnamon, walnuts, dark-skinned fruits like blueberries, green tea, all of these things are loaded with antioxidants. So just by some simple food substitutions, he doesn't have to break the bank by getting, Youngevity's Triple Treat chocolate or a supplement high in antioxidants. Wish I had a better answer for you, Tom, but my recommendation, find a chiropractor who can order the cholesterol in the pill, and keep your fingers crossed. Stick around, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, Wednesday, February 26th, and I recovered the webpage from last night. By the way, all of the live chats that we do are archived and are available to insiders for no additional charge, 24/7. I have hundreds of hours of archived information available for insiders and their guests only at fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Jeff and Jamie Nelson, guests of Matthew, wrote last night in the International Health Webinar live chat. Dr. G, just wanted to summarize everything that has happened to both my husband and I in the past 1.5 months. That's 1.5 months. That's 1.5 months. Both of us are gluten-free. Both of us are off our high blood pressure and cholesterol meds. Both of us are taking the Healthy Start Pack and Cherry Mints. Both quit smoking. My husband has lost 15 pounds and I have lost 12. My skin looks absolutely amazing, more energy, and I'm sure I'm missing many other changes. Thanks so much for all of your help thus far. So thankful for Youngevity. That in 1.5 months. 1.5 months. That's 1.5 months. I mean, it's unbelievable, really. Todd Harrison, who's the tip of the spear of muscular dystrophy, alternative medicine, muscular dystrophy fundraising and research, was with us last night. And he wrote, Dr. G, I had a fantastic fundraiser this past weekend for Defying Muscular Dystrophy. We also just released a news release on the Defying Muscular Dystrophy Facebook page, inviting the whole muscular dystrophy world to come along for the reimbursement project. They're doing a very interesting thing here. They want to get a number of people who have been definitively diagnosed with muscular dystrophy and get baseline lab work and diagnostic criteria, physical criteria, archived, right? You need a baseline of how big are your muscles, what's your percent body fat, et cetera, what's your blood work look like, right? What are the pro-inflammatory markers in the blood like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then they're going to get on board with longevity for a number of months, a number of years, and then we're going to do follow-up physical exams, follow-up blood work, follow-up lab work in order to assess the improvement in the bodies of people with muscular dystrophy, many different types of muscular dystrophy, many different ages. And then we're going to collate all of the findings and publish it. And the people that are involved in the study are going to have their nutritional supplements paid for by Todd Harrison's nonprofit Defying Muscular Dystrophy group. So everybody wins. It's just a fantastic thing that he is up to. We're all very, very, very proud of what Todd Harrison and his family are doing with muscular dystrophy. Okay, Golden wrote last night, "Hello, Dr. Glidden. I recently started having extreme itching on my scalp. Minor irritation on the skin. Went to 2 doctors and a dermatologist, did the allergy testing, and found out I'm environmentally allergic to everything underneath the sun. 2 doctors and 1 dermatologist, and I want a big-time refund. I'm itching so bad my head is sore. I'm currently on the Healthy Start Pack, no gluten. How valid are those allergy tests, and can you help me where I have some relief right now?" Yeah, so this is not rocket science, right? It's a scalp problem. That's a skin problem. The skin is part of your scalp. So what do? Number 1, you eliminate the 10 bad foods, not just gluten. You have to stop all 10 bad foods, Golden, number 1. Number 2, you have to support and promote the structure and function of the skin. And the best way to do that in the face of an inflammatory condition like this is with essential fatty acid supplementation, extra essential fatty acid supplementation. The easiest way to get that, the most economical way to secure extra essential fatty acid supplementation is in the context of a combination of longevity nutritional supplements called the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. So the recommendation here to support and promote the structure and function of your skin would be 1 Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and 1 bottle of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 Healthy Start Pack and 1 bottle of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And since we trace all allergic conditions back to the digestive tract, you would also benefit undoubtedly by consistent consumption of root beer belly. 1 or 2 packets of root beer belly a day for 8 weeks. 1 or 2 packets of root beer belly a day for 8 weeks. Give us a call back in a couple of weeks and tell us how you're doing. We're going to go talk to Tim in Montana when we come back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and guess what? This is... Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, chipping away at scientific insanity that's levied upon an unsuspecting public. You know, in a perfect world, there would be legal remedies available here, but there are none. It's a runaway juggernaut of misinformation. And the best possible thing you can do is don't watch the evening news. Just don't watch it. Do not watch the evening news. Because it's mostly hogwash. And stay the heck away from Dr. Oz. Let's go to Tim in Montana, I think, or Missouri. Maybe it's Montana. Hey, Tim, thanks for the phone call. Yep. You are live.
Can you hear me okay?
Speak up a little bit, buddy. I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's actually Missouri. So
Missouri. Very good. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. It's more like misery right now, don't you?
I know. It's nuts. What's going on, man?
It's a balmy 23 degrees here today. So
are the poles shifting or what? Is it the second ice age? What do you think's going on?
It's the groundhog. That's it. The groundhog.
Oh, that's a good one, Tim. Hey, man, thanks for calling. What's up?
Okay, I'm 40 years old. I haven't abused my body, so to speak. You know, I'm not a hard drinker. I'm not a party animal. But I guess you'd call me a Coke fiend, where I drank Coca-Cola all the time, not water, Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah. How are your teeth? I bet your teeth are crap.
Yeah, I think I've had bad teeth. The rumor was something that my mom maybe had taken that could have caused staining, tetracycline staining or something, but I've always had cavities.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's hand in hand. But I was waiting for something bad to happen to me, just, like a smoker's in denial of cancer, or something, and then one day they get, 40 years old comes along, and I went through kind of a traumatic event kind of right before that with an animal that was sick, and I had to care for it, and I was just really stressed, depressed, and I think all those things came together, and wham, it hit me with like a pain in my throat, just kind of an awareness that something in my throat was there that I never really paid attention to.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just appeared, a normal process that does its thing. All of a sudden it just felt kind of like an achy, burny kind of thing. And, I'd never really paid attention. I did more research and trying to figure out what it was, hoped it wasn't the worst. And I realized back in that time I switched from drinking soda to coffee. I don't know if there's some sort of acid level thing that happened. Or I got some stomach thing. Well, it's just been kind of a nonstop back and forth battle since probably September. It feels like it's getting worse, and it feels like it's almost like the top of my stomach, sternum area, up to like now. It's like I feel it really like a burning in my throat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's perfect. It's a perfect explanation. And, of course, right, it's inappropriate for me to attempt to diagnose things in a forum like this, right? I can't see your body and I can't look down your throat over the radio, right? But notwithstanding that, this is just my take on this. I'm not attempting to diagnose an illness here. It sounds to me, symptomatically and by virtue of the history that you just talked to me about with lots and lots and lots of soda, Coca-Cola, that you're experiencing the very beginnings of gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is fancy schmancy doctor talk for heartburn. Okay? Now heartburn, it has like 100 different faces. It has 100 different faces. Sometimes people think they're having a heart attack, and it's heartburn. Sometimes people think they've got pneumonia. It's heartburn. Sometimes people think they have congestive heart failure. It's heartburn, right? It's crazy how many different ways heartburn can show up. But all things being equal, one of the things that soda pop does, it doesn't matter if it's Coke or ginger ale or Sprite or root beer or Tab or Fresca or Mountain Dew, the phosphoric acid and the bubbles and the carbon dioxide bubbles in those drinks, and especially the phosphoric acid, the carbonated bubbles neutralize your stomach acid, making it virtually impossible for your stomach to digest minerals out of your food. So the more soda pop somebody drinks, it sets you up for mineral deficiencies. Now, everybody has a mineral deficiency anyway, because the food that we're eating, even if we had a perfect digestive tract, don't have enough minerals in them to support and promote healthy structure and function of the human body. Everybody's minerally deficient. And if you're addicted to soda pop, that makes your mineral deficiencies more extreme. It's only a matter of time until something breaks because of a mineral deficiency. Now, the phosphoric acid makes your blood acidic. It makes your blood acidic. Now, the body doesn't like that. The body has 6 buffering systems. 6, count them, 6 buffering systems that it uses to maintain a very tight regulation on how alkaline or how acidic your blood is. And if it's one way, too acidic or too alkaline, you go straight into a coma. So your body's going to prevent that at all costs. So what happens? Well, you drink a lot of soda pop. Now your blood's acidic. So the buffering systems kick into gear. 2 or 3, and don't quote me on this, it's at least 2 of the bodies, and it's the first 2 buffering systems that the body uses in order to neutralize the pH of the blood, pull minerals out of your bones. And they dump the minerals in the blood in order to neutralize the blood and make it less acidic and more alkaline. But the blood likes to be just a little bit alkaline over neutral, just a little bit this side of alkaline over neutral. So your body will pull minerals, calcium and magnesium and phosphorus and boron and zinc from the bones, dump them into the blood when the blood is overly acidic. And when you're drinking soda pop all the time, your blood is overly acidic and you've got mineral deficiencies anyway. So now you've really got mineral deficiencies, which is very, very interesting, because the main cause, if not the only cause, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's the only cause, unless you have a knife or a spear or an arrow or a bullet in your stomach, heaven forbid. The only cause of heartburn, whether it's low grade, just beginning heartburn, or, it's full-blown Barrett's esophagus, 3 weeks away from throat cancer heartburn. The cause of heartburn is stomach acid, which is too weak. It's too weak, which is kind of counterintuitive, because the stupid MDs have trained us to believe that heartburn is caused by too much stomach acid. Well, it's not. It's absolutely positively wrong. The Earth is not at the center of the solar system, and the Sun is. Heartburn is not caused by too much stomach acid. It's caused by not enough stomach acid. I did an entire webinar with pictures and everything, man, that explains the mechanism by which this happens. Can I say something
real quick?
Yeah.
I actually I'm an insider. I subscribe and I watched that, and I'm like, man, it all makes sense, because you can almost, as you follow along, you can trace things. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've said is I've always had like seasonal allergies, and
yeah.
I've been on hydroxyzine since I was about 18 or 19 years old because of itching.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does all these things come into play? Am I just like ripe for the picking, or is this like...
Well, yeah, no. I mean, so what happens, right? So seasonal allergies, from our point of view, are caused by leaky gut in the small intestine. That's what we trace it back to. And what's a leaky gut in the small intestine caused by? Consistent consumption of all the wrong foods. And now the hydroxyzine, I'd have to look that up to see what it does as far as side effects go.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It's an antihistamine, like a histamine block. It's 10 milligrams is what it is.
Yeah. But this is what happens, right? When you take a drug into your body, and remember, we're okay with drugs when they're properly used, right? When you take a drug into your body, it doesn't work through fairy dust, drugs, or magic. Drugs work by upregulating or downregulating certain biochemical pathways in the body, all of which are run by vitamins and minerals and amino acids and essential fatty acids. So when anybody takes any drug into their body, it burns through your nutrient reserves. That's how it works. It has to. I mean, you can't step on the gas pedal and have nothing happen to the gasoline level in the car. It's going to go down. So when you take a drug, your vitamin levels go down, your mineral levels go down because the drug burns them up. So the use of drugs over the long term will actually exaggerate the causative factor here, which from our point of view are nutrient deficiencies across the board. So you've kind of got a double whammy, right? You've got chronic mineral deficiencies times 2, right, from the phosphoric acid and the carbon dioxide in the Coke, and a leaky gut caused by wheat, barley, rye, and oat consumption over time because, like everyone else in this country, you believed General Mills, right? I mean, you believed him. You believed Dr. Oz. You believed the medical doctor who told you to eat more whole grains, and you thought you were doing a good thing to your body, right? So these things are finally... now, it's a testament, I think, to your Constitution that it's taken 40 years for these chickens to come home to roost. Quite frankly, if I was a betting man, I would have bet that this stuff would have started to capitulate 20 years ago. But, you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
I think, in the job I work in, it's kind of we ship out online, so it's a lot of rolling, tapping, using those muscle. I think because the person that did this before me had acid reflux. I'm telling you, it's like, I guess certain age, bending over, But lately, the big thing that's kind of got me concerned is I've been trying to avoid the bad food, but I don't think I can't consume enough because I quit drinking soda, where that was my source of calories, the sugar and that. And so I'm drinking water, which is 0 calories, and then I'm eating, you know, and I'm actually losing weight. So I've lost probably 15 to 20 pounds.
Did you need to lose that weight, or did you not need to lose that weight?
No, I don't. I think I was about 185. I can go on all day here, but I know
So what are you, 170 now? How tall are you?
I was 170. Now this is, I don't want to sidetrack you, but on top of this, a New Year's resolution to get organized, get on top. I talked to my doctor about my attention deficit. Now going back to sugar, I realized a correlation. Like, there it is, brain fog, everything. Yeah. But I was on. He didn't really want to put me on anything. He put me on the Adderall medicine. I got off on my own, but I think I lost 12 pounds, 15 pounds on that.
That's what it does.
And since I've gotten off that, I've lost more, where people have said, you look thinner or something, you're all right. And I'm like, I've noticed lately I'm getting like temporal, like headaches, and just, is this all related, you think, to this?
Well, yeah, so, you know, if you don't have enough calories and you're physically active, you're going to start to develop side effects of low blood sugar and not enough protein in the body, and many different things are going to start to show up. Now, the only solution for that is you have to build into your day-to-day routine, a standardized method of eating. So, make your lunch the night before and, consume foods that are good for that are not on the bad food list, that are high in calories, like almond butter. Right? Salted almond butter with honey, loaded with calories. Okay. Salted almond butter with honey. I mean, I just thought that up off the top of my head. Cheese, full-fat cheese on gluten-free bread with mustard and whatever. But as far as this thing that's happening in your chest, you need to consume 2 or 3 times as much calcium as you're doing right now. So I'd like to see you do 3 to 4 ounces of calcium a day. Now, stick around. I'll dial this in specifically for you when we come back. I appreciate it, Tim. Hold on, folks. We'll be back after these words. Welcome back, everybody. We're finishing up the first hour with Tim from Montana, who's an insider, and he's got quite the story. Tim, are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still in Missouri, though, unfortunately.
Oh, Missouri. Why do I keep saying Montana? I don't know what's up with that.
I think you want to move there, I think.
Well, I think I need more EFAs, man.
That's a nice open country still,
Yeah, it is. It is. Every time I've been there, though, it's been in the middle of winter. So it is a beautiful place, though, I have to tell you. All right, so the thing here for the short term, for 4 weeks, I would add the ultimate enzymes into your program. Ultimate enzymes, because that's kind of like jump-starts your stomach acid, right? It gives your body, it's like priming the pump, those old, hand pumps at the well. You got to pour a little water in the top before you get it to pump water out of the ground. It's kind of like that. You shouldn't need to do that, though, for more than 4 weeks. I would also increase the calcium that you're taking, and I would do 1 ounce 3 times a day. In a perfect world, I do a half an ounce 6 times a day. But I don't know if that's feasible for you. Yeah.
I went out because I just went out to like a Whole Foods and bought a liquid calcium.
No, it's not going to work.
Okay. But
this is a really good thing to talk about, and because all wine is made from grapes. But there's a great deal of difference between Annie Boonsprings green apple wine and, a nice bottle of California Pinot. Well, what's the difference? There's the recipe. And this is why I'm such a stalwart advocate of Dr. Wallach, because his recipes, his formulations, and his nutritional supplements, the way that they're made, they blow the doors off of everything else. I can say with all certainty that Dr. Wallach's nutritional calcium, the liquid calcium, is the most absorbable effective calcium supplement on the planet. And you're foolish if you go anywhere else, because that stuff is just not going to cut the mustard. So you need 1 ounce, you're kind of in the weeds here, man. For 3-4 weeks, I do 3 ounces of Wallach's calcium a day, 3 ounces. And the way that I like to take it is in a little bit of orange juice, or a little bit of pineapple juice, or I think it tastes best if it's orange, pineapple, banana juice. But, one man's ceiling's another woman's floor. So whatever you need for taste. But if you take the liquid calcium in a little bit of acidic stuff like, orange juice, it absorbs better. And you need help with absorption. So you need to increase your liquid calcium from Youngevity, and don't be afraid of salting your food. Because in order for your stomach to have healthy stomach acid, you need salt. So salt your food, up the ante with the liquid calcium, take the Ultimate Enzymes for a couple of weeks. I'm going to bet you 25 cents that within 3 weeks all this throat stuff, sternum stuff, is going to be a thing of the past.
Okay, so 3 ounces of liquid calcium a day, and then Ultimate Enzymes. Is there a specific amount for that?
I get a bottle a month. I get 1 bottle and take 1 or 2 capsules at the beginning of a big meal until the bottle's empty. You shouldn't need more than 1 bottle. That'll maybe take you 2 weeks. Depends on how many you take a day, how big the meal is. But really, that therapy for you is just like priming a pump, and you shouldn't need to do it more than a couple of weeks. Salt. And I don't care if it's Morton's iodized table salt. I don't care if it's Celtic salt. I don't care if it's Himalayan pink salt, whatever. Just salt your food so that it tastes good, and don't be afraid of that.
I appreciate all the information. I knew it was fake because as soon as I started listening to the show, I went out, I sell and buy stuff at thrift stores, and I saw this bobblehead from the 1950s of a doctor, and it's the classic bald with a mustache, and he's got this look on his face, and it says, listen to your doctor. He tells good jokes. So I was like, this thing works. I'm going to mail it to you. So, okay. I will. And is there a specific amount of calories I should be consuming? I'm about 160 pounds.
Well, 1,500 is the minimum. So you need to do more than 1,500 calories a day, which should be relatively easy to do. You're going to have to prepare, though, man. You're just going to have to shop, load the fridge, and prepare. It's a kind of a funny habit to get into, but you can do it. I do it. And look, man, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Thanks for the trust, Tim, and give us a call back in a couple of weeks with an update. I'll look forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, hour 2 coming up. We're going to go to Alabama and talk to Uda at the very top of the hour. From Dr. Peter Glidden, this is Wednesday, February 26, 2014, and you're listening to Fire Your MD Now. Check the website out, fireyourmdnow.com.